Good day to you, my grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's mathematical literacy lesson. My name is Bernard Donko. This lesson is brought to you by the Northern Cape Department of Education in collaboration with Pagama Research and Development. So, as part of our revision for paper 1, we want to get into it, and I hope that you will be able to get some few things from us. At the end of the lesson, I wish that you'll be able to define and find the difference between VAT inclusive and VAT exclusive. You should be able to show how the original value, once VAT has been deducted, you should be able to calculate UIF and why UIF is deducted. So let's get into some few examination tips. As you know by now, the paper is set, moderated, and marked on a national level, not on a provincial level. Okay. How does paper 1 look like? It is going to have finance, data handling, and probability. Measurement, maps, and plans will be for paper 2. So our whole attention are on these 3 topics. You know, finance is going to count about 90 marks, data handling 53 marks, probability about 7 marks. All in all, is going to give you 150, and you should be able to write that in a period of 3 hours. Part of paper 1 can include growth charts because you have to do some measures of spread there. So, how does the paper 1 then come about? You will see that in your question 1, there will be about 30 marks plus minus 5, meaning can range from 25 way up to about 35 marks. Just knowing things that you are going to be able to get straightforward just by looking at it. And because I know you are a high flyer, you are going to do very, very well. You are going to be able to score as many marks as possible. Question 2 will focus only on finance. Question 3 will focus on data handling. And then question 4 and 5 will be an integration, meaning all the topics of finance, data, probability will be used to set question 4 and 5. Meaning we can include probability across everywhere, not as a question on its own. All right. The whole idea of math literacy is to help you to be ready for real life context. So I hope that you should remember that all the answers that you're going to be giving must be based on real life situations. The context that you're going to be asked questions on will include familiar and unfamiliar context. Familiar are those ones from your ATP, your annual teaching plan, where they'll be asking you things that are easy for you to understand. When we talk of the unfamiliar, let's say they want to ask you questions about measurement, conversions. They can include something that is imperial, not your normal metric. And then you have to convert from imperial to metric or vice versa. Or if they're asking you about taxation, they can give you a tax table of another country. And then you have to use your idea of normal way of calculating tax and bring it to South African context. Those are what we are talking about here. All right. So the kind of questions that you're going to be facing in your paper 1 is just like the prelim, but a little bit higher order. Questions that are going to focus on VAT, UIF, VAT inclusive, how do you calculate the pension fund, UIF, how the donations and everything comes together. Then you're also going to be asked questions on non-taxable. So I've given them to you here, what you call non-taxable, meaning these items, you do not pay tax on them. Please remember, and I know for you as a high flyer, you are fine already. When we say VAT, it means what? Value added tax. It is 15%. But take note that there are certain items such as brown bread, milk, fresh fruit, vegetables, sanitary pads. They are all excluded from calculation of VAT, meaning they are zero rated, meaning you don't pay tax on them. And usually, when you get a slip, any item that is zero rated, we show it with a hashtag sign. So you as the candidate, I want you to be able to be comfortable to know how VAT is calculated, how VAT exclusive and VAT inclusive are calculated. What we are going to be focusing on in this lesson will be on VAT, UIF, and tax. So get ready on that. What are we going to be focusing on? I've already shown you here. When we're talking of annual taxable income, you will get the formula so that it will help you. You should be able to identify the tax bracket, be able to use formulas to calculate. You should be able to subtract rebate and medical tax credit, all of them. Now, one of the ways that you can use to help you is to ensure that you are able to reset your calculator to a normal mode. So I have given you the approach on how to set the calculator if yours is a Casio. If it's a Casio, then I want you to focus on the steps that I've given on the screen. Meaning I want you to press Shift 9 3 equals AC to restore your calculator to the default. To default means like the day you bought it. That's the default. If you have been using the calculator for a long time, sometimes it can store information there. If you want to clear all the displays, sometimes your calculator will be showing you times 10 to the power, I don't know, 15 or what, and you don't want those exponents. Then the simpler way of doing that is to press Shift Mode H2. It will clear everything to the normal way. Again, you can use your calculator to do time calculations, meaning it will help you to do calculations involving time. So I'm just showing you here that on your calculator, if it's a Casio, you will see the number 8. At the top of number 8, we have got ENG. At the top of ENG, can you see there's the number which shows something like commas? That button, we are going to use it as our time button. That's what I've shown you here. Now, how are we going to use that? All right. Let's say they're telling you a car travels at 105 kilometers per hour in terms of 90 minutes. Then what is the average speed? So they are talking of speed, which is what? Speed equals distance divided by time. What is your distance here? 105 kilometers. The time is 90 minutes. Then simple. Take your calculator. I want you to input. You press 105. You press your divide button. You press 0 time button, 90 time button. The reason why we're pressing 0 so that the calculator does not consider the 90 as 90 hours. Remember, your unit says kilometers per hour. So you will press 105, then you press divide by 0 time button, 90 time button before you press the equal sign, so that your answer will become 70. If you don't press the 90 first, the 0 first, then it's going to give you a very huge answer, which is not going to be correct. Let's look at example number 2. This person is traveling from East London to Mutata in the distance 120 kilometers, 126. The average speed is 63 kilometers per hour. So they're asking you, this person left at 6:50. Will that person be able to arrive before 9 o'clock? Then you can use the calculator to do that. How are you going to do that? Take your calculator, press 126 divided by 63 kilometers per hour. It means it's 2 hours. Good. That's the distance from East London to Mutata. That is going to be 2 hours because he's only driving at what? 63 kilometers per hour. Now, they are checking whether you are going to be able to find before 9 a.m. or after 9 a.m. So while you have that same answer on the calculator, I want you to press the time button plus 6 time button again, 50 time button. You press equal sign and then you press the time button. The calculator will change everything into 850 on your calculator, meaning that this person will be able to arrive before 9 a.m. Do you see how you can use the calculator with the time button? It's very much simple. All right. Now, how do you handle misconceptions? These are some of the misconceptions that you learners you make during examination. Like when they say write the acronym VAT. VAT is VAT. UIF means value added. VAT means value added tax. UIF means what? Unemployment Insurance Fund. Remember that VAT is 15%. UIF is 1% from the employee, 1% from the employer. So how much goes into the fund? 2%. All right. When they say calculate VAT inclusive, I want you to multiply by 115%. If it is VAT exclusive, that's when you multiply by 100 over 115. If they ask you for taxable income, it's going to be the gross income minus non-taxable income. So in order not to bombard you with so many things, as time goes on, I will be giving you bit by bit of exam tips. Now, let's get into some of the terms that we are going to find as we deal with paper 1. You should know what to call gross income. What is a net pay? What's an income tax? I'm explaining all these things. I've given explanation of each and every one, so I need you to go over them and try to understand. You should know, as a high flyer, these are easy pickings where you're going to get a lot of marks from. Remember what I said already. UIF is a government-run insurance fund, insurance scheme. Employee pays 1% of the basic salary. employer also tops up another 1%. So let's say the 1% was 110 rand. Then the employee pays 110, the employer pays 110. So it's going to be 110 plus 110, which is 220. That's what goes to the fund, meaning what is going to the fund is 2%. Good. Now, how do we get the difference between VAT inclusive and VAT exclusive? Inclusive means VAT was already added. Exclusive means what? There is no 15% VAT. So if it is inclusive, then you can only work with the original and how much VAT was there. If it is exclusive, it means you can work with inclusive and how much VAT. So let's see. The 529.99, if we divide it by 1.15, 1.15 means what? 115 over 100. It means the original amount, is 460 rand and 86 cents. Then, if they ask you to find the VAT, now that you know the original and you know the inclusive, you can subtract the two of them so that you can get your correct answer. What about if it was exclusive? It means now you can find 15% and add it. Or you can just multiply everything by 115%. I hope you understand what I'm talking about here. So now, can you see? The amount is 460 rand 86 cents. So for us to include VAT, we just multiply by 1.15 or 115%, and to give us 529.99. Then, if you want to subtract the VAT, you just subtract the 460 from the 529. I hope that makes sense to you. When you are asked to calculate the VAT exclusive amount, sometimes you tend to calculate 15%, and that is not correct. Because the fact that they are saying calculate the VAT exclusive amount, it means the item that they have given to you or the amount already contains VAT. So if it contains VAT, you don't subtract 15%. What you can actually use is say 15 over 115. This you can use, not 15 over 100. No. You only talk of 15 over 100 if there was no VAT, then you are finding it. But if there's VAT already, it means you have to say 15 over 115. All right. So I've given you a lot of common errors that you make. What I'm hoping that you can do is that along the way, you pause, have a look at it, because we are going to be doing examples. Then we'll be doing activities that will help you. Like when you are working with tax, you cannot forget to subtract rebate. But the problem is that sometimes the person is belonging to secondary, but then you skip primary, you go and subtract only the secondary. That's a mistake. If the person is from secondary, you subtract primary rebate, you subtract secondary rebate. Just like if the person belongs to tertiary, you subtract primary, subtract secondary, subtract tertiary, so that the person will pay less tax. Remember, for the person to belong to tertiary means they are old, they are over 75 years. Good. Now let's do some examples. If you have a couch that costs 2,599 and the price does not include VAT, so the examiner is saying how much VAT should we put there? Now that is when you find 15%, because you are now finding it to include it. So it will be 2,599 times 15 over 100, which means you're going to add 389 rand 90 cents. Or if you are quick, you can just say 2,599 times 0.15. You will still get 389 and 90. How about number 2? Calculate the VAT inclusive value on flowers that cost 120 rand. Meaning here, there is no VAT. So we must find it and add. Find the VAT value and add. Which means we say 15 over 100 times 120, which will be 18 rand. Then what do we do with the 18 rand? We add it, because they are saying we should find what? VAT inclusive. So in total, we are going to pay 138. Now let's get back to some exam questions then. Pansula is a dance company. The company has a bank account with Sionga Bank. The bank statement dates run from 15th of the month to the 14th of the next month. Below is part of Pansula's bank statement for a certain period in 2013. The first question that the examiner is asking you is to write down the bank balance as at 19 April 2013. What's the bank balance? So basically, as we are doing this, you have your book there. You cannot just be watching. Write and compare your answer with the one that I'll be showing you. Okay, so what is the answer that we got? We got 28,955 rand 47 cent. They said as at 19 April. So we check what is the bank statement balance. There is the amount. Are we good? Let's go to the next one. Determine the total amount deposited into the account from 19 April to 2 May. All the amounts that have been deposited. So let's go 2 minutes. Read and see if you can get the answer. We'll come back after 2 minutes. All right, welcome learners. So this is how you attempt such a question. So we are adding all the amounts that have been deposited. The first one was 239 rand, 2,239 and 10 cent, 2,239 and 10 cent plus 3,100. Can you see where there's credit? Meaning we are adding all the values there. So you add all of them. Let's have the first one, 2,239 and 10 cent plus 3,100 plus 110 plus 500. Then we are going to get 5,949 rand and 10 cent. 5,949 rand and 10 cent. All right. How about question 1.3? You're supposed to find the missing value A and B. What is the missing value here? We had this money in the account. We did a certain transaction. So how much money is left? And then B, this is the money which was in the account. A certain transaction happened. But then after the transaction, we are left with only this money. So how much? So I'm giving you 5 minutes. Learners, let's go. 5 minutes, we come back. Welcome, learners. Right. So this is how you answer the question. The first one, to find A. What do? You're going to take the money which is in the account minus the debit, the money which went out of the account, which is 850. That's how you end up getting 30,344.57, which means that's the money which should be here. Now, to find B, then this is the money which was in the account. This is how much is left after this transaction. You had 33,798 and 11 cents, but after a certain transaction, you are only left with 33,540. So subtract the two. Subtract the two, it means the transaction was 257 rand and 40 cents. Are we good? Let's go to question 1.4. On 21 April, the service fee for depositing an amount of 2,239.10 cents was given as 31 rand 74. Determine the service fee as a percentage, meaning that amount of 31 rand 74 as a percentage of the amount that you deposited. How do you write it? Can you write it quickly? This one, 2 minutes, learners. Let's go. This amount as a percentage of the amount that you deposited. How do you do it? 2 minutes. Welcome, learners. So this is how you're supposed to take it. You take that amount as a percentage of 2,239.10 cents. Do you see how we talk about it? You write the amount as a percentage, you multiply by 100, then the amount deposited is the one that you divide by. So the percentage that was charged for 1.42%. Right. Let's go to 1.5. Write down the approximate number of weeks that this part of statement covers, meaning from 19 April way up to May. How many weeks roughly are there? It's going to be only 2 weeks. Are we good? Okay. We have another question here. Mrs. Springbok runs a small tuck shop from her house. She sells sweet chips, cans of cold drink, and fat cook. Once a week, she buys 6 cases of cold drink for 137 rand 50 each. A case of cold drink consists of 4 6 packs. Each can contains 330 ml of cool drink. At the end of the week, all her cool drinks are sold out. So the first question is, if she sells the cool drink in her tuck shop for 8 rand a can, what percentage does she add to the cost price per can to determine her selling price? So as a high flyer, let's say, I want you to try it. She buys it for 137.50 for the 6 cases of cold drink. And then I've told you how many are in a case. A case is how many? 4 of 4 6 packs. Now, she's selling each one for 8 rand. So how much percentage was added? I'm giving you 5 minutes. Let's go. 5 minutes, learners. Welcome back, learners. So this is how you're supposed to check. 1, remember a can. Let's go back so that you can see again. A case of cold drink consists of 4 of 6 packs. So 6 packs times 4, that gives us 24 cans in it. Now, we've paid 137.50 for the 24 cans. So how much? It means we bought each one for 5.73 rand. So how much profit did we make? Since we are selling it for 8 rand, let's subtract how much we bought it for. Meaning each one we paid or we got a profit of 2.27 rand. So percentage added will be 2.27 rand divided by 5.73 rand. Or you can take the percentage approach, which is new, which is the 8 rand, minus old, divided by old 5.73 times 100. New minus old divided by old times 100. You will still get the same answer, which will give you 39.616%. That's how much you added. Correct. Now let's go to 2.2. It says 2.2.1. 2.2 says a new 330 milliliter bottle of cool drink is available. So the sales rep of the cool drink company wants Ms. Springbok to sell the bottles instead of the cans, meaning she wants to stop selling the cans, rather buy bottles. The new bottles must be sold at 5 rand each. That should be the selling price. Ms. Springbok finds out that the new bottles will cost her 4.20 each. Then she will sell it for 5 rand. Okay. The sales rep's argument is that the new 5 rand bottles cost less. Therefore, more people will buy it. Does she have a valid argument? Let's prove and see. So you are having 4 minutes to attempt this. The argument is that many people will buy it since it's being sold only for 5 rand. So let's check. Now, there is it. Yes, because most people will prefer to go with the cheaper version of the product. Remember the first one, the can was 8 rand. And the new one is only being sold at 5 rand. So definitely many people will buy the 5 rand. Good. How about 2.2? Calculate how many bottles Ms. Springbok must sell per week to make the same profit as the cans. How many bottles should we sell in order to make the same profit? So I'm giving you 3 minutes, learners. Let's work. Welcome back, learners. So this is how we are supposed to work it out. The number of cans that we are selling per week was what? 24, isn't it? So 24 by 6. That will give us 144 cans that we sell. All right. What is the profit? Remember, each profit we're making profit for 2.27. So if we sell all 144 cans, then we are going to get 326.88. So let's subtract them. Now, here, remember we are selling for 5 rand. We bought it for 4.20. So the profit for each bottle will be 80 cents. All right. How are we going to get 80 cents? How many should you buy? So the 326.88, we are dividing by 80 cents. It means we have to sell roughly 409 bottles so that we can make a profit. All right. Calculate the percentage increase in sales. The examiner says you may use the following formula. It says percentage increase in sales will be increased number of sold per week and then original number sold per week times 100. So I give you 3 minutes, use this formula. Let's see how you're going to substitute so that we can see what you can do. Use the formula, 3 minutes, we'll come back. All right, so this is how I wanted you to work it out. We have our 409 minus 144, meaning new minus old, divided by old. It means the percentage increase is what? 184%. Let's take question 2.2.4. Explain how Ms. Springbok can use this percentage increase in sales as a reason why she doesn't want to sell the bottles in her tax shop. What could be the reason if she wants to use this in sales? Then, can you give your reason, please? 2 minutes. All right, welcome, learners. So this is how I wanted you to explain when you get such questions. You'll be saying the number of cool drinks increased from 144 per week to 409 per week. Now, the percentage increase is what? 184%. This means that it is nearly 3 times more than what she sold before. The decrease in price is from 8 rand to 5 rand. So a person knowing the price is 8 rand would not have enough money to buy a second bottle. But persons coming with 10 rand might be able to buy 2. You get the idea? Because now you're selling 1 for 5 rand, so I can buy 2 if I have 10 rand. Unlike if you're selling it for 8 rand, I will be able to buy only 1. All right, let's go to number 3. Mrs. Springbok surveyed a group of her customers to find out what they bought at the tax shop. She summarized the results in the table below. All right, so Fat Cook sold 6, chips 3, sweets 4, cold drink 5. If she surveys 12 customers or 12 more customers, how many customers will she expect to pick Fat Cook? How many customers? Try it. 2 minutes. Let's go over again. If she surveys 12 more customers, how many customers would she expect to pick Fat Cook based on the data from table 2? So 2 minutes quickly. All right. Such questions, this is how you respond to. You have how many? 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 4 is 13 plus 5 is 18. Good. So how many people from the 18 bought Fat Cook? There are 6. So 6 out of 18, that will give you 1 out of 3. Now, remember, she is surveying how many people? 12 more. So every 1 person out of 3 buys Fat Cook. So if I've got 12 people, then I'm expecting that from that 12, 4 people are going to buy Fat Cook. I hope you understand that. So now let's summarize everything that we have done so far. Learners, please remember to set a goal. Being a high flyer means you have done well. Your teachers can be able to attest that you are doing good. That's why you are classified as a high flyer. So in that case, set a goal. Don't go there scoring less than 50%. You are always aiming 60, 70, 80, probably 100%. So if your target is to get 60%, then you should know that paper 1, score about 90, which I know you're going to score more than that. Paper 2, 90, you're going to score more than that. Meaning, by the time you go and get your result, your minimum is going to be 60%, which is level 5 already. And I think if you do that, you would have done absolutely wonderful. Now you know you are a high flyer. I am giving you homework that demands that you think and analyze. I expect you to do all the homework so that you can compare with your friends or assist you. This brings us to the end of today's revision. Thank you so much for staying with us. I will see you soon in other topics. Bye-bye.